Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katrina Chapman. Today is June 6th, 2023. We are going to be discussing the pancreas and liver, the role of the pancreas and liver in regulating digestion. The digestive system involves more than just your intestines and your stomach. It also includes your pancreas and your liver. Your pancreas secretes digestive enzymes, which are produced in the exocrine pancreas. It also secretes bicarbonate. The bicarbonate is released in response to neural stimuli and secretin. It also neutralizes acidic chyme that sloshes together in your stomach. Your liver secretes bile, and it's released from the gallbladder. Bile is also non-enzymatic. It's a facilitator of fat digestion. Bile acid combined with amino acids make bile salts. The liver, pancreas, and intestine together secrete more than 3 liters a day to complete digestion of ingested nutrients. Let's focus a little bit more on the pancreas now. The pancreas has secretory epithelium, the endocrine and the exocrine. The endocrine has clusters of cells called islets, and they secrete hormones such as insulin and glucagon. And then the exocrine portion of the epithelium secretes digestive enzymes, which include, we'll discuss them a little bit more later, but digestive enzymes, as well as the watery sodium bicarbonate. These digestive enzymes are secreted from the acini. They're lobules that are on the pancreas. A common mutation that exists, that you've probably heard of, involves the epithelial surface of the pancreas. Cystic fibrosis is normally associated with the lungs. However, it does impact your pancreas if you have the disease or the genetic mutation. The CFTR, or the cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator, is a protein that can be defective or absent in those who have the mutation. Normally, CFTR functions as a channel for movement of chloride ions in and out of the cells. It helps regulate a balance between salt and water on the epithelial surfaces. So when the protein is absent, the chloride ions are no longer secreted, and that mucus is built up because it's just being generated and it's not being broken down by those chloride ions or mixed up together. So as a result, that mucus buildup ends up blocking your pancreatic ducts, and the digestive enzymes are no longer secreted into the intestine. This also interrupts the sodium bicarbonate secretion. Here I have included the purple ribbon, which is known for cystic fibrosis awareness, but it also is a symbol for pancreatic cancer. There is a pancreatic enzyme cascade. Here we can see the image on the right of the screen. You have pancreatic secretions that include zymogens. Zymogens are inactive enzymes. They have to go through the cascade to be activated. Trypsinogen is the inactivated zymogen. It becomes activated by enteropeptidase in the brush border, and once it's activated, it becomes trypsin. Trypsin then activates these other zymogens, the chymotrypsinogen, procarboxypeptidase, procolipase, and prophospholipase. Those are all activated into enzymes. So the chymotrypsin carboxypeptidase, colipase, and phospholipase. The enzymes have to be signaled for release. So things that could signal them would be your small intestine being distended, food being present in your intestine, neural signals, or cholecystokinin, which is a GI hormone. Once the enzymes are released into the intestine, then they will be mixed up together with that sodium bicarbonate fluid. Now let's focus on the liver. The liver absorbs nutrients and they become filtered through the hepatic portal system before entering circulation. So here on the right, we have the image of the hepatic portal system from Silverhorn. You have the capillaries of your digestive tract, which include your stomach, intestines, pancreas, and spleen, where your nutrients are entering. Your nutrients then are going to travel to the hepatic portal vein, to the liver, and then you have the capillaries of the liver that will either take them back to the hepatic vein or filter them out, but they'll be recirculated. Hepatocytes, which are your liver cells, secrete bile. Your bile is composed of bile salts, bile pigments, and cholesterol. Bile pigments are what color the bile. So an example would be bilirubin. A lot of the color in your urine or in your feces comes from that bilirubin. Bile salts facilitate fat digestion by acting as detergents. So we'll go into that a little bit more when we start talking about fat digestion, but the same way soap breaks through grease or oil when you're trying to wash it, bile salts behave the same way. They help break up the larger fat globules into smaller ones. Bile travels in hepatic ducts to the gallbladder. Once in the gallbladder, the bile is stored and concentrated, and then the gallbladder has to contract to send that bile to the duodenum through the common bile duct. Bile salts have a cycle that they have to complete when you're eating, like per meal, and they have to go through that cycle 2 to 5 times each meal that you eat. Let's focus on that bile cycle a little bit more. Here we have an image of the gallbladder and bile ducts. The small intestine, or the ileum, is where cells reabsorb, and then they're sent back into circulation. The colon converts the bile acids by colonic bacteria and recycles it back to the liver. And then you have your hepatic portal vein, which returns the cells back to the liver, but the bile is also taken up by hepatocytes and resecreted. Fat digestion. So we were talking about it a little bit earlier, but now we're going to go a little bit more in depth. You see the image here. You have bile salts that drop down from the top of this image. They come in. They're going to encounter the large fat droplets from the stomach. They'll emulsify them, so pretty much break it down. So the large fat droplets are going to be broken down into these smaller droplets called micelles. Those micelles then will either be recycled back to the bile salts, or they will actually enter into the cell and be broken down and utilized more. Lipids leave the stomach as fat droplets. The bile salts break them down through emulsion, as we talked about. An interesting fact is that lipase is not able to penetrate the bile salts. So once you have your bile salts that are satelliting, I guess you could say, or satellitism, if you think of that around a fat droplet, then you have lipase that wants to come in and break through. Well, the lipase can't break through around all the bile salts, so it needs a cofactor, the colipase, which is secreted by the pancreas, to come in and move and displace some of those bile salts so it can get into those fat droplets. Phospholipids are digested by the pancreatic phospholipase. We're going to now talk about carbohydrate digestion. Carbohydrates consist of starch, sucrose, glycogen, cellulose, lactose, maltose, glucose, and fructose. Disaccharides like maltose are broken down by the intestinal brush border enzymes. These enzymes include disaccharide aces, and a few are maltase, sucrase, and lactase. Absorbable end products from carbohydrate digestion include glucose, galactose, and fructose. Pancreatic amylase digests starch into maltose, and that's why it's mentioned here as a disaccharide. Protein digestion. So protein is digested through endopeptidases and exopeptidases. The endopeptidases, or proteases, are secreted as zymogens in the epithelial cells in the stomach, intestine, and pancreas. A common one for the stomach is pepsin, and then ones located in the pancreas are the trypsin and chymotrypsin. The exopeptidases release single amino acids from peptides by chopping or cleaving them off at the ends one at a time. And then the isoenzymes that are utilized for that are of carboxypeptidase, and that is secreted by the pancreas. Vitamin and minerals are especially essential when we're talking about digestion because we want to make sure we're getting our nutrients that we need. Fat-soluble vitamins are absorbed in the small intestine along with fats. So vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Iron uptake is also regulated by hepcidin. And in our body, when iron stores or ferritin levels are high, the liver secretes that hepcidin. Hepcidin binds to ferroportin, which is an iron transporter, to transport it throughout the body or excrete it if obviously we're making too much. It is important to note that even though bile is essential in the gallbladder and helps to digest fats, and as seen here, fat-soluble vitamins for absorption, the gallbladder is not an essential organ for digestion. People can have it removed and live a long life without complications. I have an assignment that is really easy. It is matching. You will find it attached. It's just matching column A with column B. And it shouldn't take more than maybe 10-15 minutes. If everyone can go ahead and take a few moments to get that assignment done and submit it, that would be awesome. And here are my references for my slides. Thank you.